Welcome to another episode of Fear the Talking Heads. I'm here with Chad of Bonehead Weekly. Jeffrey Combs is apparently your favorite actor of all time.
One of them. If you were to say, Chad, who are your favorite actors of all time? It's usually Oliver Platt, Luis Guzman, Jeffrey Combs, Joan Cusack, and John Lithgow was the fifth one.
Yeah,
And
that's a nice list.
those five I love because any movie they're in, any TV show they're in, no matter how small the part, they steal it,
Yeah.
especially Jeffrey Combs. You all talked about Stuart Gordon a lot with my co-host Joe, and you all didn't even mention my favorite Stuart Gordon film, which is Edmund. It is phenomenal. It goes against Stuart Gordon's movie type, which is always a pleasure to see somebody who's always a director who's typecast for one type of movie, and then he goes and does something completely different. For a brief moment, Jeffrey Combs is in that. Even the scene he's in, it's such a small role, but he's great in Edmund, even though it's mostly William Bates Macy. So,
Well, I know anytime I talk to you, I'm going to get some ideas for new movies
yeah,
because if anyone hasn't noticed this before on Bonehead Weekly, if you don't watch, Chad comes up with the most obscure of the movies. With
yeah.
James, James is a close second, though.
Yeah, James is a close. Like believe it or not, I have a hard time keeping up with James because
Yeah.
he knows a lot of stuff that I've never even heard of. So I watched the previous episode with Joe, and I texted you as soon as I've watched it because I was angry. I'm like, how could you all not talk about the Frighteners?
Which now I can't remember. I think we talked about it either before we hit record
Yeah,
or we talked about it during one of the parts that I cut. And because I was so new at editing 3 months ago, it probably landed on the cutting room floor. So I feel bad about that. I've already apologized to Joe like 3 times for it being
yeah.
so choppy. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It will never look like that again.
Oh, I mean, his role as Milton Dammers in The Frighteners. I mean, he steals that movie from everybody, and that movie is stacked. I
Well, it's
mean, it
his
has
facial expressions.
And I mean, just his creepiness, his overall vibe that he gives off. I mean, you have Michael J. Fox, John Astin, for God's sakes, Chia McBride, Jake Busey. I mean, and oh my, Dee Wallace is in that movie.
I'm probably due for a rewatch on that.
I'm going to show my daughter, who's she's 11 now, and she's kind of wanting to get into horror. So Frighteners is on my list to show her when over the summer when they're off for school. It's just so amazing, and that's how I got introduced to Jeffrey Combs was the Frighteners. I want to start with this one just because it's my favorite of his. I am a huge DC Comics fan. I'm sorry, Marvel people. I prefer DC over Marvel. And one of my favorite characters of all time, probably it is in the top three, is the Question.
If I'm to save the world, your existence must come to an end before you take office.
I love the Question. And when they rebranded Justice League as Justice League Unlimited and they put all the DC superheroes in it, and I wasn't expecting it. I was watching the episode because my real favorite Green Arrow was there, and then all of a sudden here comes the Question, and then I'm shocked to hear Jeffrey Combs' voice as the Question.
Did you recognize it right away?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear Jeffrey Combs' voice wherever I go. When that's him, I'm like, that's Jeffrey Combs.
But he's got a very soothing voice.
He
As
does.
as the question
Yeah,
I
because
thought.
and what he is, he's a conspiracy nut. He's a guy who wears a mask that basically looks gives him the appearance of having no face. And he's this conspiracy nut who is tracking all these different conspiracies. And I look, there's one scene which I don't know if you saw it, where he says it's a ripoff of Britney Spears. I forget the name of the pop star, but it's Britney Spears.
Okay.
And he's saying that this song is used to hypnotize people, and he's going to help Green Arrow and Black Canary, and they're locked in this building, and he just strolls up and he's singing this song like very quietly,
Oh
very
wow.
calmly. And then the next thing you know, he grabs, I think, a chair or something, or maybe a trash can, and just throws it violently at the window, shatters everything, and then he proceeds to gently slide in, still singing this song underneath his breath. Yeah, he was great in that. And what a lot of people fail to remember is that Batman the Animated Series, one of the classics in animation, when they switched to the Batman and Robin adventure. I forget what it's called. He replaced the original voice actor for the Scarecrow, and he is creepy as hell as the Scarecrow.
Fear is power. And today it will also be quite expensive if you want the antidote.
I mean, it's phenomenal.
No one could ever accuse Jeffrey Combs of being one-dimensional.
Right. And there's one episode where he sprays Batman and instead of scaring it causes Batman to rage and go on, it just lose his mind. And there's a scene where he's like trying to beat him on a train and Batman is choking him to death. And just hearing Jeffrey Combs' voice do the strangulation. Again, proves that he can show that amount of pain and that amount of horror in just his voice. And of course, by the way, I do got to mention uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2012, which a lot of people say is the best version of them. I disagree, but I will let it slide because it still is fun. He was the voice of the Rat King.
We shall rid this city of humanity and reclaim it for ourselves. And no one, not even those vile turtles, shall stand in our way.
He's one of my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. And of course, like I said, every single time, who they give the voice? Jeffrey Combs.
Was that something growing up that you were into, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh,
Yeah.
hard yes.
Okay.
I'm an animation nerd. I always have been, always will be. Most of my DVD collection is animated series. So usually
Awesome.
you name it, I have it.
I know you guys have talked on the show about physical media too, how important that is to you.
It is because, I mean, some of those you can't find on streaming. They got a limited release on DVD and then it got discontinued. And then occasionally it'll pop up on streaming. I like going up to my library and going, I have them all. James, one of the other co-hosts, and again, Joe and James are my best friends ever. They're the best friends I've ever had. James bought me for Christmas this year. He bought me the copy of Shrunken Heads on Blu-ray because it's my favorite full moon movie.
So Lurking Fear has Ashley Lawrence in it, but she's actually credited as Ashley Lauren. She's in it with Jeffrey Combs, and she's trying to battle these creatures that are living beneath this church. And I guess the pastor or whatever, he knows that they're under there. And he's just kind of trying to just be passive or whatever. And, and they're kind of saying, like, you can't just keep protecting them. And Ashley Lawrence trying to avenge her sister's death. They're really creepy looking and they have these bulging white eyes. They had these really creepy claws. So at one point you'll see it's trying to reach out and grab this baby that's in a crib. I liked it enough that I think I might have to buy it on DVD so that I can bring it over to Granny's house because I think she would love this movie.
And The Lurking Fear is one of the best full moon movie posters ever. I
Yeah.
love the full moon poster of Lurking Fear because I'd had to look it up because I'm just like, I forgot that it was one friend of the show, friend of our show, C. Courtney Joyner's, one of his directorial movies. He did this one. He did a Puppet Master. He did several movies for full moon. He's one of my favorite episodes.
Jeffrey Combs, of course, chewing the scenery, as they say.
And also, again, one of the long line of weird character names. He, of course, is Dr. Haggis.
We know where they live. Tunnels everywhere. And we do know how they feed because this town has been on the goddamn dinner menu for 20 years.
And he has a cigarette hanging out of his mouth through almost the whole movie. So Jeffrey Combs and Ashley Lawrence are both going to be at Scarefest this year. You just mentioned how awesome that poster is. I think if somebody wanted to get kind of a double billing autograph on a poster, that would be the one to do it.
Mm-hmm. Joe briefly mentioned this one, but James and I are huge Christopher Lambert fans. Always have been, even though he prefers Highlander and I prefer everything other than Highlander. His role as D-Ray in Fortress, I absolutely love it. Now, granted, he's just a side character. He's one of the people who's helping Christopher Lambert escape. He knows the technology.
You can pull it out of us.
Well, yeah. I mean, in theory. I mean, I haven't tried it yet. I mean, I may just set this thing off, give this cell a coat of red paint. I don't know.
Let's find out.
But he's in there, and every time he's on the scene, He's not necessarily stealing it like he normally does in most movies, but he's right there just going along with the story. And it's whenever he's talking, I'm like, oh, it's Jeffrey Combs. And he's amazing as he always is.
Motherfucker's fine. Whoa. You should see what you fools look like through this thing, man.
Because he does a subtle performance in this one. But I wanted to bring it up just because I love Fortress. It's one of my favorite Christopher Lambert films. Breeding is strictly prohibited. You can only have one child, and Christopher Lambert and his wife lose their first child, so they have a second one, and then they're hunted down and thrown into this futuristic prison. And he is known for escaping, and he has to escape this prison with his wife while there's this crazy ward. And I mean, everything about Fortress is amazing, and especially Jeffrey Combs. I don't know if people are fans of this because Jeffrey Combs is in it, because Jeffrey Combs is only in it for maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
But it's The Guyver. It's a low budget superhero film. It's based on a Japanese animation film called The Guyver. It's about this man who runs into an alien device and it attaches itself to him in the base of his neck. And he's able to, from the device, envelop himself in this alien armor, this super alien armor. And he fights these mutants with it, these people who can change into monsters. I love The Guyver simply because I'm a comic book nerd. And when this movie came out, we had Batman, and that was it. What kills me about The Guyver, and this is why I wanted to bring it up. Now, again, Jeffrey Combs' performance isn't really much of anything, but it's a callback on another movie. His character's name in The Guyver is Dr. East, which is a lame callback to Reanimator, where he was Dr. West.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so easily entertained.
And if you can find The Guyver, I believe, on Tubi and Prime. If you want to watch it, I would recommend Prime over it because the streaming quality is a little better than the
Yeah,
Tubi
I
quality.
have noticed that.
Him as Dr. East, even though he's only in it for a few minutes and then he changes into a mutant, and then the mutant version of him is insane. It's one of those obscure films that I think are the listeners of this show, most of them will probably have remembered The Guyver just because they're at the same dork level I am.
I'm liking the list.
Were you able to go back and look at any clips of Love in a 45?
I did. I really like his character in that. But see, the thing is I watched Love in a 45 when it very first came out.
It was early 90s. My best friend at the time, he came in with a double box VHS set of Love in a 45 and some weird action film starring Lou Gossett Jr. And we watched Love in a 45 in class.
Oh, really?
It's basically a ripoff of True Romance.
Well, also the other one that I was thinking of was Wild at Heart. Just passion and crime. That's all it is through the whole movie. I watched it for Gil Bellows. I just, for some reason, really liked him at the
Yeah. So if you haven't seen Love in a 45, he plays the amazing character name of Dinosaur Bob.
Is that right?
What the fuck are y'all doing here?
Giving you a tattoo, baby. Now sit your ass back down in this chair so I can finish what he started. Sit down and don't speak till you're spoken to.
And there's never an explanation of why he has Dinosaur in front of Bob. He plays kind of like a Texas cowboy archetype. He plays it with a southern drawl. When you're first introduced to him, he's just kind of like this weird hickey guy who's threatening Gil Bellows, hey, you owe our boss money. But as the movie progresses, he gets more and more psychotic. His scene where he's torturing Peter Fonda, spoilers, is phenomenal. It has a stacked cast of Renee Zellweger, Gil Bellows, Peter Fonda, Roy Cochran from Dazed and
Yes.
Confused. Something bad happens midway through, and and the movie goes downhill from there because he's not in it. And see, honestly, when you and Joe were talking, you all focus mostly on the horror, and I'm like, oh, I want to focus on the ones that weren't. Because there's so much more to Jeffrey Combs. And I saw the comments that you all barely scratched the surface, and I'm like, I kind of agree. Let's go into the ones that I actually really like.
It needed a part two, so I'm
Yeah.
really glad that you were on board with doing that.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. This is a horror comedy. I mean, it just came out a few years ago, but if nobody has seen Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman of Souls, you need to watch that film. It's got the craziest name in movie history, probably. Again, that is Onyx, the fortuitous, and the talisman of souls. An early YouTuber. His name is Andrew Bowser. He wrote and directed and stars in this film. But basically, what Andrew Bowser's would do is they would have like live newscast, and he would show up as this character and tell stories in this character, and that's how he got popular. And then he took that character, kind of like a Pee Wee Herman-esque, and turned it into this movie. But he is just this weird, dorky guy who works at a burger joint, who still lives at home with his mom.
He gets no love.
I could understand if your father was still in the house, but this is Tom, your stepfather, and my lover.
And he's your basic loser. That's all. And he always talks like he's a wizard, no matter what the situation. And one day he's invited to this mansion by Jeffrey Combs, who plays Bartok the Great. They're there to make themselves more powerful.
His most loyal followers will attempt to raise the spirit of the ancient demon.
But something else is going on.
All five imprisoned. The Queen, the Viking, a werewolf, the witch, and you are the Virgin.
What the?
I honestly, for those people who haven't seen it, I don't want to tell too much more about it because it came out in 2023 and it flew under the radar. I mean, it got accepted into Sundance, then that's where it stopped. I ran into it just by happenstance on Prime. I was like, Prime for me gives me the old feeling of being back at the video store because I can go into deep dives in Prime and go, what the hell is this? And sometimes it steers me in a wrong direction, but sometimes it's right. And this was one of those. I'm like, what the hell is this film? And the title caught me, of course. And I watched the trailer. I'm like, I'm watching this. And I was not disappointed. And then I didn't know at the time that the crazy character was Jeffrey Combs. He was so well made up.
A lot of people have seen the remake of House on Haunted Hill, but have they
Right.
seen Return to House on Haunted Hill?
And that's one I've never seen. I didn't know there was a sequel till my co-host Joe told me about it.
Oh, was that recently?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Combs, dare I say, is seen more on screen for Return to House on Haunted Hill. So if you liked him in House on Haunted Hill and you want to see more of him, and you didn't know this sequel existed, it's there.
I need to check it out.
And Chad, there's going to be some parts where you're like, why would you go back in the house? Why would you do this? But I had to mention that one because it has some of those creepy visuals in it that the horror community loves.
You know, the last one I have on my list is this is the only one that I think was kind of a callback to what you all discussed, but I didn't feel like you talked about his roles in Star Trek enough. I mean, personally, for me, his role as Wayun in DS9, where he's he's the servant of the changelings. Oh, it's amazing. But that's not my favorite role. So my favorite character of his is Jeffrey Combs, is Commander Shran in Enterprise, where he plays an Andorian character. And my favorite part, just my favorite thing about is how snarky he is. He always has a quip. Like one of my favorite quips is when he's talking to the crew, he calls them pink skins.
Captain Archer, look at the trouble you've gotten your pink skin into this time.
And he does it in such a sarcastic way that it just makes me giggle. Every time I hear him say the word pink skins, I just giggle a little bit. And I still don't know why people hate on Enterprise. He's always there to save the day or have them help him. He's just an amazing character in the Star Trek universe. And I think he's often overlooked because, again, he's associated with Enterprise. And crazy ass Star Trek fans don't care for it as much as they should because Enterprise is one of my top 3 favorite series. Out of every character that's been on Star Trek, they keep bringing Jeffrey Combs back. Each character is different too, again, proving his prowess because Wei-Yun in DS9, he's very straightforward, has no emotion, very evil.
You know, my dear, it would be such a shame for you to die without the good Dr. Bashir knowing how you felt about him.
Then you have Commander Shran, Enterprise. He's serious because he's a soldier, but he quips with the crew. He is very, very sarcastic. And I mean, and they're played differently. And again, it just goes to how talented Jeffrey Combs is.
I wonder if he still has pictures, little mini posters of his.
He has PS posters of The
Does he?
Question and
Okay,
Star Trek
that's cool.
characters. Those who might not know the reference, I changed my name to Roadmap of Pain. That is a line from The Frighteners where he goes absolutely crazy and he rips off his clothes and you see all the scars from where he was undercover in cults and stuff. And he goes, "My body is a roadmap of pain." And he signed that to my poster. And I still giggle to this day when he wrote that. I'm like, he wrote the roadmap of pain reference, which I
Did you
know.
ask him to, or did he just do it?
I just said, could you make it out to Chad? Because I will always, I don't have a lot of autographs, but when I do, I get it from the people who absolutely. Oh, by the way, I want to go back when I said my favorite actors of all
Okay.
time. I got to put William Forsythe in there. He's one of my favorites. I can't
I
believe I'm beating myself up that off the top of my head. I didn't say
I
William
should have picked
Forsythe.
up on that just with some of the episodes you guys have done. Just some of the movies that you picked had him in it.
I am ashamed I
So,
didn't mention him at the top. But yeah, like it has to be somebody who means a lot to me for me to buy an autograph from them. And Jeffrey Combs, William Forsythe, Dee Wallace.
okay.
And when he wrote that, I know he's probably signed that to a million Frighteners things. And I'm just like, I don't care. It's one of my favorite
That's
lines.
so cool.
How big of a dork am I? When my bachelor party was going to Scarefest for the first time, Dee Wallace was there, and I'm like, I got to get her to sign the Frighteners poster, guys. And she went there, and Joe mentioned that I was here for my bachelor party and that I'm getting married in a couple of weeks. And she goes, "Do you mind if I personalize this?" I'm like, "No, God, yes, please do." And she wrote to Chad, "Happy marriage."
It's amazing. Do you have anyone on your radar for this year at Scarefest, or not just as of yet? Have you really looked at the list
I
or
mean,
no?
the Monster Squad, but I have to have something for them to sign.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this in our other episode. I
Yeah.
mean,
Are you
Monster
gonna
Squad.
to try to find something unique?
I would love. Again, it's so there's three movie posters that I don't own. That if I owned them, I would never collect another movie poster in my life. And it's Big Trouble in Little China, Army of Darkness, and Monster Squad.
Why do you not own those? Are they too expensive?
Insanely
Are they
expensive.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going to fork that much money over for a poster. I have come close a couple of times on Monster Squad just because of how important it is and how cool the poster is.
Hopefully someone gets new ideas.
Everybody has a different opinion. Like I
Yeah.
said, Joe and I have wildly different opinions. And that, like, I made this joke before the episode because both James and I, when Joe said, "Oh, yeah, Barbara asked me to do the podcast, we're going to talk about Jeffrey Combs," we both looked at each other and said, "Why the hell didn't she invite us? We're bigger fans."
I didn't know that. I know that now though.
And I'm like, how the hell could she not invite us to an episode about Jeffrey Combs? And James went, and I'm like, I'm texting her. So I texted you immediately and said, "How dare you?"
I think it was something like, I got a bone to pick with you or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. I'm like, that is crazy.
Well, Chad, thank you so much for giving me the time.
Oh, glad to be here.
I
Plaid
appreciate
to
it.
be here. Yes, I am glad to be. I
You're
don't know why.
glad to be here.
Yeah, yeah, that too.